Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about how you know your game is doing well. I saw this last night in my Sunday game. I saw it on my game, and I actually saw it. My game is the Dungeons and Dragons Strixhaven Adventure arc. We had a Dungeons and Dragons Strixhaven student arc, right, where the player characters were students and they were apprentices and then pledge mages. They graduated from Strixhaven and now they're doing an adventuring arc where they get a bunch of levels as adventurers, and then the idea is that they're going to, if they all survive, or whoever survives, they're going to go back to Strixhaven and serve as professors, right? So we're having this big Strixhaven arc, and so I had a great ending to my game, which I think is a perfect way to tell if your game is going well. And the same thing happened we run 2 games in our Sunday. We have a 4-hour session. It's split into 2 2-hour games. So we had session 3 of the Strixhaven Adventure, 5e, which was mine, and we had D&D 5e session 3 on Fallout Keystone. And what's really interesting, in both games, the same thing happened. It was almost like a perfect night. Like we've really hit this incredible stride. And so what happened at the end of my game? Players were asking, "Hey, so I just got this smuggler's ship, right? I want to know, who am I? Oh yeah. So I want to make sure that all of my people are paid, and all the pirates on my ship are paid." And I also want to make sure that we know where we're going to get our next haul. I also want to make sure that, one of the player characters became a captain. And he said, "I'm going to start to, make sure that all the other player characters are accepted by the crew, and they have the ability to do cool things on the ship too, right?" And then another player's like, "Hey, I use Dungeons and Dragons. I use Magic the Gathering cards." He's like, "I have a full set of lands. Yeah, I have a swamp, a mountain, a plains. I have, so it's swamp, plains, island, mountain. There's one more in there. Why am I drawing a blank? It's red, white, and blue. And forests. Forest is the other one. I have a full set of dragons, all the chromatic dragons. I want to change these in. I want to turn these in because that indicates I've earned a level. I want to turn in these lands because I'll get a skill set for those, right? And so I have this other alternate, EXP reward that kind of gives, more and better and ranged and runs all through these Magic the Gathering cards. So at the end, we're at the end, and it's 8:00, right? And I need to give the game over to the next DM so that he can start his Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Fallout Keystone game. But my players are like, I want to turn in these things I've earned in the game, and I want to cash out, right? And then another player is like, I have this question. I'm going to be going back to Strixhaven at some point. I have this question about where we're going to Strixhaven, and there was just this clamor of people saying, "I want this question answered. I want this question answered. I want more here." And each question is, I'm engaged. I want to know where this goes next. I'm preparing to do this thing in the game I want to do, right? And then the same thing happened at the end of Fallout. So we found these varmint rifles, right? And everybody's like, "Well, how many rounds do we have for these varmint rifles, right?" And and we're going through all the loot that we had for the game. And then also, I'm at the end of the game saying, "Hey, we spent time in this church earlier, and they had a bowl for holy water, and I'm the vault chaplain, right? So earlier I waited for this other player I waited for this other player to take their turn, and then you naturally went into a story mode, and I didn't want to interrupt your flow, but I need you to take me back, and I want to ask if I can do this thing at the church. I want to make holy water and put it into a canteen and then other players also saying, "Hey, we leveled up. I have this question about, how does this work, for my character?" And there was just this scrum, just like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions total from 4 different players, right? Just piled up saying, "I need this, I need this, I need this," to know where we're going, right? And the reality, and the reason why I'm telling you this is, do not ask your players how your game is, right? It is the worst way to tell right? Because they will lie to your face. And I know this for 100 different reasons, right? And I'm really worried about some of you because you all are like, yeah, my game is, great, and we all love it, and we have open, honest communication. And I'm like, you think you do. You don't, man. True answers don't come from words. They come from action. You can see engagement, okay? And engagement never comes from, it's just like that thing that you do with a partner. If you have to ask if it went well, it didn't. Just know that, right? Like, if you're asking how your game is, you suck as a DM, or you had a really bad game and you're insecure about it, right? Because I did it once. I did it probably 3 months ago. I was like, how'd that go? And I realized, and one of my players kind of smirked. He's like, you talk about that in your he was 100% right. I didn't feel like that session went go. Do not ask how your game is. Look for signs of engagement. Questions at the end of the game. People trying to cram in questions before they walk out the door, before they turn the game over. That is engagement, right? And if you're not getting those questions, everybody just packing their crap and going, right? You are not engaging your players, right? So understand that engagement is incredibly important. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. What are ways we can tell if our players are having a good time or not, if they're tolerating the game or if they're totally enraptured by the game without asking them? Because I'm telling you, you rely on open communication too much, right? And this is not just me saying this. Over on Slate, they said, hey, if somebody you care about gives you their book and asks you to review it, and flat out, Emily Bazelon goes, oh yeah, I would lie to them. Absolutely. I'm going to tell a friend their art sucks, right? And it's all over, right? It is. You cannot rely on open communication. It's not as open as you think it is. And the more you think you know your players and all, everybody's in unison, the worse the problem is you, right? You've got to get the truth through clues and patterns. Open communication sucks, is not real, does not matter, and is the worst path to it. All it really does is reaffirm the things you want to believe. Right? I really want to get everybody here on this, because there's so much bad advice going out there on this topic. Thanks for letting me talk about this. Please consider subscribing and have a wonderful millennium.